All right, let's talk about something incredible that's happening inside you right this second. It's like a non-stop financial market, but for energy. Yep, your body has its own economy, and it's a wild story of managing fuel between times of plenty and, well, times when you're just hungry, between meals.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? How you can have lunch and then hours later you've still got the juice to hit the gym or power through a tough meeting? It feels kind of like magic, right? But it's not. It's this absolutely brilliant biological system that we're going to break down right here.
So here's the fundamental challenge your body is facing 24/7. Your brain, it's a total energy hawk. It's super picky and demands a constant steady drip of its favorite fuel, glucose. But you only eat a few times a day. So you've got this huge mismatch between a constant demand and a very intermittent supply. Your body has to solve this puzzle every single day.
So let's dive into Act 1 of this story, the fed state. This is what's happening right after you've eaten a meal. It's a time of plenty, and your body's number one goal is simple. Use what we need right now and smartly store the rest for later.
And the main character in this act, it's a hormone called insulin. The best way to think about insulin is like a super efficient storage manager. The second it sees all that glucose flooding in from your meal, it basically blows a whistle and gets to work, telling everyone, all right, team, we've got a surplus. Time to get this energy packed away safely.
And insulin's to-do list is super specific. First, it goes to your muscle and fat cells and tells them to literally open their doors to let all that glucose in. Next, it signals your liver and muscles to start packing that extra glucose away for a rainy day. And this is key. It also hits the brakes hard on releasing any stored energy. I mean, why would you make a withdrawal when you've just made a massive deposit?
Okay, so how exactly does the body pack all this glucose away? Well, it's a process called glycogen synthesis, and it's kind of like this. Imagine glucose molecules are just loose change, individual coins. Glycogen synthesis is the process of neatly stacking all those coins into rolls. That roll, that's glycogen. It's this super compact, branched form of glucose that's perfect for your short-term energy savings account.
The whole process is just a beautiful piece of biochemical engineering. First, a glucose molecule gets activated, turned into a little building block. Then, a key enzyme called glycogen synthase starts linking these blocks together into a long chain. Another enzyme comes along and creates branches, making it look like a tiny tree. And this tree-like design, it's absolutely brilliant. It lets you pack a ton of energy into a small space, and all those branches give you tons of places to access the energy quickly when you need it.
But of course, that time of plenty doesn't last forever. A few hours pass, and now we enter Act 2, the fasting state. The party's over, and it's time for your body to start tapping into those reserves we just so carefully stored.
So, if insulin was our storage manager, now we need to meet the release managers. First up is glucagon. Its job is pretty straightforward. When your blood sugar starts to dip, it taps the liver on the shoulder and says, hey, we need some glucose out here for the team. But then you've got epinephrine. You probably know it as adrenaline. That's the big red emergency button. It gets slammed during stress or a hard workout, and it tells both the liver and the muscles to dump fuel into the system, like right now. And the process these hormones kick off is called glycogenesis. It's literally the exact opposite of what we just talked about. This is your body going back to that energy bank, breaking open those neat rolls of coins, and putting that glucose back into circulation so you can use it like cash. And the main enzyme here, glycogen phosphorylase, it basically acts like a super fast pair of scissors, just snipping glucose units right off the ends of those glycogen branches. Then another enzyme comes in to handle the branch points, making sure nothing gets stuck. The two of them work together to guarantee a super fast and efficient release of fuel right when you need it.
Now, this whole system is fantastic, right? It's perfect for bridging the gap between breakfast and lunch. But here's the thing, it's a short-term solution. Think of it like a checking account. It's not your long-term savings. So the big question is, what happens when that checking account runs dry? What if you're fasting for longer?
And that happens way faster than most people think. We're talking just 16 to 24 hours of fasting, and poof, the liver's entire glycogen store can be totally depleted. Your body absolutely needs a backup plan, and it needs one fast.
And that brings us to the grand finale, Act 3, the backup generator. Because when those short-term stores run out, your body doesn't just give up. No way. It does something truly mind-blowing. It starts making brand new fuel completely from scratch.
This incredible process is called gluconeogenesis. The name literally means new glucose creation.
Your liver, and to some extent your kidneys, can take other stuff that isn't carbs, like lactate from your muscles after a workout, or amino acids from protein, and they can chemically rework them, building them back up into fresh, new glucose molecules, all to keep that energy-hungry brain of yours happy.
And this table here just perfectly shows the difference between spending energy and, well, earning it. Breaking down glucose for quick energy, that's glycolysis, gives you a small profit of 2 ATP. But making new glucose from scratch, whoa, that's expensive. It costs you 6 ATP to make 1 molecule. So yeah, it's an absolutely vital backup plan, but it's not cheap, which is why it only kicks in when glucagon signals that times are getting tough.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got these two totally opposite systems, right? One for storing energy when you're fed, and another for releasing it and even making new fuel when you're fasting. So that brings us to the resolution of our whole story. How the body pulls off the ultimate balancing act to manage these two.
And this is a super important question. How does the body make sure it's not storing and releasing energy at the exact same time? Because that would be incredibly wasteful. It's what scientists call a futile cycle. It's like driving your car with one foot slammed on the gas and the other on the brake. You're burning a ton of fuel, but going nowhere. So how does the body avoid this?
The secret lies with our two master enzymes that we've met. Check this out. They work in completely opposite ways. Glycogen synthase, our builder enzyme, is only active when it's clean, meaning it has no little phosphate group attached to it. But glycogen phosphorylase, our demolition enzyme, is the total opposite. It's only switched on when it has a phosphate group attached.
And there it is. That's the secret. It all comes down to a single, elegant chemical switch, phosphorylation. That's just the fancy name for adding or removing that little phosphate group. Your hormones, like insulin and glucagon, are what controls this switch. So by flipping this one tiny switch, your body turns one pathway on, while at the exact same time turning the other one off. It is an absolutely genius system that guarantees you're only ever doing one or the other, storing or releasing, never both.
But wait, there's one last super important detail. We said the liver is the main player in all this, right? But why? Well, it's because the liver has a special enzyme that the muscles don't. Think of this enzyme as an exit door. It allows the glucose to actually leave the liver cell and get into the bloodstream to help out the rest of the body. Your muscles, they don't have that exit door, so they kind of hoard their glycogen. They keep it all for themselves. The liver, on the other hand, is generous. It shares its glucose supply to keep your whole body, especially your brain, running smoothly.
And that's the whole cycle, in a nutshell. Eat, store, fast, release, and then repeat. It's the beautiful, constant rhythm of your body's energy economy, and it's happening every single second, without you ever having to give it a single thought.
When you step back and look at it, it's just this incredible feat of biological engineering, isn't it? A precise dance of hormones and enzymes, all working together to make sure you have the energy you need when you need it. It really makes you wonder, right? What other invisible, amazing systems are firing on all cylinders right now just to keep you running? Definitely something to think about.